27,000. If we have some gentle push, we could see that crossover to that, crossing to that psychological level we lost a few months ago after the market was most bullish in the second and the early part of Q3 of 2017. The market cap by that figure. Let's roll that over. In terms of turnover volume, we saw a major push yesterday from Jaiz Bank, more than 266 million shares. That accounted for about 50% of the total market turnover on the first trading day of this full trading week in November. There you can see the Naira value, about $8 million US, not significantly bad from where we were coming from. We finished off around last week about $11 million US in total transactions. Yesterday, we're about $3 billion in local currency, and that's about $8.0 million, so by some exchange rate. In terms of transactions, 4,274. That's not bad either if you consider our daily average in terms of transactions, the number of deals or transactions that occur on our markets. Move on, therefore, to that page, the 5 main sectors we track on a daily basis. We got one green shoot from the banking sector, 0.2%. The insurance lost significantly, almost 1%. That was a step away from their other financial services, the bigger cousins, the banks. Then you had three red shoots from those subsectors. Consumer goods, 0.2% in down. Industrial goods was unchanged. Insurance lost 0.8%, and oil and gas was a negative 0.65%. The market was also a bit lackluster and, in fact, negative over the counter market. Move over to the NESD, shall we? Thank you. Now you find the unlisted securities index there, almost 1% in the red, 607.42. The NESD is holding on to that 600 psychological level for the index, for the big market index. The market cap, 411.06 billion naira. Of course, on a daily transaction table, if you roll that, what you see next is a very gentle start for the week. 104,250 transactions. And let's finish this off with a fixed income, a very weak Monday for the Naira bond. Total just about 2 billion Naira as far as the transactions were. That's one of the weakest day we've seen in recent weeks for the Naira bond via the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. Yields contracted very narrowly by just about 1 basis point. Take that away. Look at the Treasury bills market. That's a little bit more aggressive. 125.72 billion naira is also a bit more bullish than the bond market. That's a bit of a summary there for most actively traded treasuries, and you can see the yields there declining. Don't miss that. That's the second column under the discount high, and you can see the treasury bills maturing 2018, trading now around 15.6%. This is giving you some indication, if you know how to read the market. We'll have a discussion around this trending, lower trending treasury bills or interest rate over around the yields around treasury instruments and bonds in the next few days before we get to the MPC final meeting November 20 and 21st. Let's get a sense of today's trading day. Rotimi Fakayejo is coming right bright and early on the show. Rotimi, good morning from Enterprise Stockbrokers. It's good to have you.
Good morning, both.
Thank you. We appreciate that, your time this morning. It's still very early hours of the opening bell on our market. Give us a sense of where you think the trading action will be today. Are we done totally and finally with the earnings?
Please, can you say that again? I can hardly hear you.
The question was, are we done with earnings for the third quarter earnings?
Yes, we are, because the very major ones are already here. So those other ones, some insurance companies that have not yet been submitted to the Academy of Nigerian Stock Exchange and onward transition to the trading floor, have not. Those ones are very, very inconsequential. So I believe that we are done with the major ones that actually affect the market.
So if there are no earnings, what are you traders looking at right now in terms of the stock market?
Well, I think the major focus is in relation to the larger economy of exactly what is happening. Budget is being presented today. The oil price is getting close to $64, and also still expectation of a higher price for the crude oil. And that definitely means a lot of positive for the market. So I believe that with many of the Q3 results that were very good, very heartwarming, investors are actually positioning for the full year. And I expect that even in this period, we're still going to see a better price movement of some stocks that will actually drag others, and that definitely will imply a more positive change in the OSHA index and market capitalization.
Okay, the big elephant in the room today is the budget presentation by the president. I'm sure despite the trading day, you're going to find some time to listen in on that. So let's chew that together tomorrow and get the stock market side of the budget. Rotimi Fakayejo from Enterprise Stockbrokers, thank you very much. We appreciate raising the curtain for us here on the program and for the trading day. The market finished off yesterday a little bit gentle, 0.02%. That's the stock market. That is, and of course, across the fixed income, it's a little bit quiet as well. Yields narrowed very slightly, but again, we're looking at a few developments from the fixed income space this month, the primary market auctions, and of course, the much lower borrowing plan by the Debt Management Office for the fourth quarter. We've got October done. We're looking at what November DMO primary market Naira bond will look like. Let's come back to you after the break, and we've got a lot to talk about in the commodities marketplace.